Hi, my name is Adrian, and I interned at an elementary school. And so this was my student teaching experience, and it has been super wonderful. In the middle, it was a little bumpy because I was starting to take over, and I really did not expect feeling that way and all that work and all that responsibility. So it was really stressful. So if you're a student teacher and you're watching this and you start student teaching,
Anthony, line 10, please go to the car loop. Anthony, to the car loop.
make sure that you don't give up, because we've been studying this for like 4 years, some people even more. So make sure that just because it gets a little bumpy, it does not like just tear you down. Yes, you can cry. Yes, you can like complain a little bit, but make sure that your mentors don't see you complaining, because that just is not professional. So make sure you come here with a smiley face and you show everyone that you're ready and that you're responsible to be a teacher for the following year, because they have a lot of influence on you and they will be your references. So make sure you make a good impression. Make sure you're also involved. So like if there's like international night or like a chorus kind of thing, like I was involved in international night and Frances was involved in like a performance with her violin. So make sure people know about that so you can be involved. So yeah, make sure you smile so people know that you're okay, that you're happy. Make sure if you mess up when you're teaching a lesson that you don't say, oh my gosh, I messed up, what do I do? No one is going to know that you messed up, because no one really knows your plans except for your mentor, and they'll understand if you mess up. They're going to be like, okay, it's your first year, it's okay. But the kids won't know, so don't freak out. Just try to, wing it, and you have to be flexible. This is when flexibility comes in, and you can just try to get back on track. Let's see. And if you mess up, don't be so hard on yourself. It's not the end of the world. You're a beginner. You're gonna mess up sometimes. And since everything is new, it will be really hard, or it might be really hard. So make sure that if it's hard, it's just because you're a beginner. You'll get used to it. Be patient with yourself, with other staff members, with your students. I remember in the beginning, I wanted to learn everything super fast so I can just be ready, but it doesn't work that way. It's very gradual, so be patient. Take any advice from anyone, like from your mentors, from the principals, because they're very experienced. So just take that and take their notes into account. Make sure that you enjoy this year. It might seem like a long year, like in the middle, you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't want spring break to end, and then I just want to finish kind of thing. But near the end, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I don't want it to end. I don't want to leave. That's how we feel right now. We're like, I don't want to go. And the kids don't want you to go either sometimes. So make sure you enjoy it. Don't try to rush it. Make sure you ask as many questions as you can. I'm pretty sure people already mentioned this in this video, but don't be afraid to ask questions. I asked a lot of questions and for a lot of guidance, because I don't want to ask these questions during my first year teaching. I want to have an idea of what to do, and I don't want to seem super like new at everything. I want to seem prepared. And so if you have questions about guided reading, there are things that maybe your mentor can give you. Like my mentor gave me comprehension questions or higher order thinking questions to ask the students, so you can do that. And let's see, do everything on time. Make sure you relax too. So if you don't have your weekends anymore, don't be shocked. You'll get them again, but make sure that you continue on working hard and you don't give up. And you'll get through this. Make sure you also observe. When you're observing your mentor, make sure you're taking a lot of notes. Notes on how they're collaborating with students, notes on how they speak to the students. Make sure you don't pick favorites either. You have to be very unbiased and show all the students that you're being fair. I'm pretty sure other people are going to say things about what to take notes on, so I'm just going to say that. And last but not least, I wanted to end with like a little metaphor. So throughout all of these years, you've been a little seed in the ground. So all the books that you've been reading, that's just been helping you as a little seed. And then when you get here, it is very different. So it's not like the books. So a lot of people think it's easy, but it's pretty hard when you get here. But everyone, the students, the staff, other interns, you're going to get really close to people. So they're going to help you water your little seed, and you're going to sprout a little bit, and over the years you're going to become a big beautiful flower and hopefully help other people, which is what we're trying to do with you guys. And anyone that's watching this video is just help you out with some advice, and hopefully this helps. So these are all the advice that I have for now. So thanks.
Hi guys, I'm Jackie. I am a MSERT intern from elementary education, and I'm interning here at Meadow Hall in 2nd grade, and I've been here all year. And I guess some advice that I have for you for next year is definitely be flexible in every way, starting from the beginning of the year. When you're a teacher, something always happens, whether it's during the day, during the week, during the quarter, something always goes wrong. But definitely just try to roll with it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be wrong. It's just something happens, and go with it, and always have a plan for something going wrong or someone finishing early. Always have that second plan. I guess another piece of advice that I would give to you is don't try to be your students' friends. I know that someone gave me that advice coming in here, and that was something that I definitely tried not to do. You want to assert your authority appropriately right from the beginning. Otherwise, when you're in takeover, they, will just think that you're their friend, and that can be really hard for your management, for their learning, and for everything. And I guess my biggest challenge would have been time management this year. For those of you who are in undergrad, our program, the MSERT program, is 13 months, and we get a master's, and it's very condensed and challenging. So my biggest problem was time management, and I'm sure your program is just as busy if you are an undergrad. So I guess my biggest thing would just give up some weekends. Don't be afraid to just stay home and do your work and get it done, so that you don't have to be up until 3 in the morning on a weekday, because when you're a teacher, you definitely want to get to bed early so you can be the best teacher that you can be the next day. So I definitely wasn't afraid to give up some weekends and just stay home and do my work. And I know that can seem like the end of the world if you're in college, but it's not, I promise you. I got through college fine, and I got through this year fine, and if you give up a couple weekends, you'll survive. And I guess the most memorable thing for me was my relationship with my students. I'm sure that will be the same case for you guys. They are so great, and you learn so much from them. They don't only learn from you. I think I've learned so much from my students, and and they make me, I guess, learn a lot about myself in general, what my tics are, how much patience I have, and the type of teacher that I want to be. So just start your relationship with them right away. Don't be afraid to talk to them when you first get here. Don't be afraid to just be that, the intern. Definitely be somebody that they can talk to, and someone that they see as safe, which I think definitely when you exert your authority and you're seen as that teacher, they will think of you that way. And then one last piece of advice I'd probably have for you, depending on what mentor you have, how much experience they have, really if you have any mentor, and I don't know, I just wouldn't be afraid to ask them questions, and I wouldn't be afraid to ask them for help. So if they're not giving you resources, or if they're not helping you plan, or if they're not giving you something that you feel like you need to be the best teacher you can be, I wouldn't be afraid to ask. I know my mentor was really on it and proactive, and I also know that some mentors, their personalities might not be that way. So I would definitely try, if you're feeling that that's the case, I would definitely try to be the proactive one about it, because this is your experience, and you should really try to make it the best that it can be. So.
Hey, I'm Frances, first grade intern here at this elementary school. Here's a little book nook, just to give you a little background of where I am. It's been an amazing year. I just finished my last day. We just had our class party I was so sad because I don't want to leave these kids. They made such a difference in my life, and my mentor's been incredible this year. Helping me out become a better teacher. I started with some challenges. Man, let me just tell you, you will be pushed out of your comfort zone. But I think that's really when you find out what you're really made of. And your mentor and your staff, everybody in this school will support you. They'll answer any questions you have about anything. This is a great school to learn from because the OT, the special education teachers were always there to help me know what to do with the students because sometimes you don't learn about the students in classes. What else? Oh, and also the lesson plannings are probably definitely one of the most challenging things. You want to make sure that they're good enough for the rest of the team to teach to their class. And I definitely had to experiment with how to create lessons that matched up with the development of my students. So sometimes I made lessons that were a little too hard for them to understand. And then I would backtrack and then I'd make them a little too easy and then there'd be too much time at the end of the lesson. So it just took a lot of practice to create lessons that really fit their interests and really worked with with their development. So like just a little bit of challenge was perfect for them, but not too much, not too little. Also make sure you set the highest, very good high expectations for your class behaviorally because if you set low expectations in the beginning, it's going to be hard to build back up. So something that was difficult for me was to stay consistent with making sure that the behavior management strategies I'm using were always the same for every student. And also another tip.
Yes, Mia, I need you to come to the office.
Another tip is get enough sleep. You're going to have to make some sacrifices. Maybe you won't have as much of a social life, but trust me, it'll be good for your mental health. You're going to be on your feet all day, so make sure that you have enough energy to put forth 100% of your effort because if you don't, your students will suffer and they'll notice that and they look up to you as your role model, so you need to make sure that you are giving your all to them and they'll give you their all back. Let's see. One more thing. Oh, also, I loved trying to be creative with behavior management systems. My mentor teacher really helped me a lot with creating new strategies such as creepy critters or like little proof balls that I put on each student's desk. And they're really cute. I put pom-poms and little eyes, and they were kind of like the class pets. And so if they were quiet, I would put them on their desk, but if they weren't, I would take them away. And that made them upset, so it got them to stay quiet and make sure they were doing a good job. We play something called treasure trash, so at the end of the day, students will go look for a piece of trash that I have in my mind as the treasure trash, and at the end we'll say, oh, someone got treasure trash, and whoever picks up the trash I was thinking of will get a prize, like a sticker or something like that. So it gets them all helping out with responsibilities in the school. Something else we did was something called jitter sticks. So I noticed when they were getting really jittery on the carpet, I'd say, all right, time to pull out a jitter stick. So I pull out a popsicle stick, and they would have something like, do 10 jumping jacks, and then they got to refocus and ready to learn again. We also did something called a mystery walker. So I chose one person in my head, wouldn't tell them who it was, one student in my head, to watch throughout the day to see how they do in the hallway and see how they do on the carpet. And then if the student did a good job and was listening directions, at the end of the day, I would give them the whole class a high five star. And that would go towards reaching the goal of like a class party or something. So by not knowing who it was, it made them all responsible for making sure they're doing a good job in school. Also, rewards we provide are extra computer time, lunch bunches, they love that. So make sure you always have some type of goal that they can reach in mind. And then a sticker chart for people with behavioral issues. So a smiley face for every time they're doing a good job and staying in their seat, smiley face for every time they listen to directions, keep it consistent. So yeah, this year has been full of learning experiences, and it's really going to test to see what you're really made of. But trust me, you're going to enjoy. You're going to really enjoy. It's going to fly by. So I really hope that you can take this advice and have a great year. Thank you.
My name's Sarah. I student taught in second grade at Meadow Hall this year.
And so, Sarah, what did you find most challenging about your first year as a student teacher?
I think what was most challenging for me was staying organized and managing my time, because that's not something that always comes naturally to me. So really just figuring out a routine and making sure I can get everything done, and even little things that I thought might not take that long, just finding time to fit everything in and making sure that I get everything done, but still make time for other things that I have to do.
Also, let's see, what did you find most helpful this year? What did you find most helpful?
I think what was helpful was being able to collaborate, not only with other teachers on my team, but also because there are so many interns in the school that were going through a similar experience, being able to talk to them and get their input and advice on things that I wasn't sure about, and talk to them about things they weren't sure about, and just being able to work together, I think, helped a lot.
Do you have any advice on like what notes to take, like what collaboration strategies to take notes on, or what to look for in other teachers so you can try to apply it to your teaching?
I think taking notes during planning meetings was really helpful, or just paying attention to everything that was going on, everything they were talking about, because I remember in the beginning of the year, a lot of it just went in one ear out the other, because I hadn't heard any of these things before. I didn't know what the acronyms meant. I didn't know how different things were used. So I think during planning is a really good time to learn about those things and pay attention, and then they just become more routine for you.
And for your team, did you guys like share like worksheets with each other? And so what would you say is important about those worksheets? Like, should we save it, or?
Yeah, we shared a lot of things, like worksheets, flip charts, different ideas for lessons. So if one person had something that they had used maybe the year before, they would share it with everybody else.
Oh, okay.
And I think it is helpful to keep track of those things and save them, because you can modify them for other lessons or possibly use them again later in the year.
Do you have any advice for student teachers, or is that good, or do you have any other advice?
I would say stay organized, find ways to cope with stress, because you'll be very stressed out, but you'll get through it, and it'll be a great year.
All right. Is there anything that you would take into your future classroom that you would want to point out in this video? Like,
I like having the schedule up on the wall, because even though we have similar routines every day, the kids will still ask, what are we doing next? Or if the schedule is different for some reason, they can just refer to that. And it helps them, I think, become more comfortable with the routine.
okay, good, perfect.
So I'm
Thank
Grace.
you.
And I'm Matt, and we're both in 5th grade.
And if we could give you some pieces of advice, I think one of the biggest things would be organization. There's a lot of stuff coming at you from, whether it's your classes, your internship, stuff you have to do for the program. So being organized is like key, to have some sort of calendar, whether it's on your computer, or like I had like a hard copy planner, where you have all your assignments, any events coming up, all in one place, and like to-do lists and stuff like that are upcoming, I think would be really helpful.
So along the lines with those classroom assignments that you'll get through the university classes, we recommend that you always start early. You're always going to be busy, and there's never going to be a good time to really knock this stuff out. So as soon as you can, just start working on it, and you can always work in a group. That always helps too.
Yeah, and just letting your friends and family kind of know like that you're going to be pretty much busy nonstop for the next year. It sounds very daunting, but it's pretty much the truth. But just finding time to relax, just one night out of the week even, just to kick back with, other people in your cohort or friends and family, really helps get you through the rough times. So,
Yeah. So also, I guess, don't compare yourself to others. So your situation is going to be unique to you, and everyone else is going to have something different, whether that's because they're at a different school, they have a different mentor, or something else is going on in their life that's different from you.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but like your mentor definitely does pretty much shape your entire internship experience, and you may think that you have a terrible mentor, which can happen. And I would just say, just do your best to suck it up and make the best out of your situation, because in the end it can really mess you up if you are like so negative all the time. And so just do your best to stay positive, and it's going to be over before you know it, so just stick with it.
Yep. Most important thing is enjoy yourself. It'll be over at some point.
Yeah.
So hopefully you have yourself intact afterwards.
And hopefully you have a buddy to teach with, because that helped a lot. But if you don't, then good luck to you.
Quiero ver tu corazón, todo es mentira, todo lo que me diste tú. Quiero que por una vez me digas todo lo que tú quieres de mi amor. Quiero ver de nuevo todas tus caricias, quiero ser de nuevo toda tu ilusión. Quiero ser quien te despierte en la mañana, quem te bese com todito el coração. Quero te dar beijo, quero ver de novo o sol. Quero ver no teu olhar o fogo dessa paixão. Quando eu